Hello, GenRight Nation. It is October 25th. Thanks for joining us. Certainly, if you're watching this live, I really appreciate that. This Tech Talk is something that we do on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So it's where we talk about your favorite subject in mind, Jeeping, how to drive them, how to build them, everything under the sun. So as always, I welcome your questions and comments. You just type them in, and Jen's here to read those. I do have a couple, actually, I have a special guest here all the way from Nebraska. Troy, why don't you come over here and say hi? He's usually on the other side of the screen with the rest of you. This is Troy Merritt.
Hello.
Troy, I've known Troy for quite a while, probably darn near 30 years, huh?
1997, 98.
Yeah, so he used to work for me at a different company that I owned, light years ago. So now he's got a Jeep, a YJ, no less, and he's traveling all. He drove it out here from Nebraska.
Yep.
So
I-80 all the way across to Park City, and then south on 15.
Yep. And he says he's here to see his daughter have a baby, but I think he's here to be on Tech Talk.
That's obviously. Dream come true.
Dream come true. He's got his GenRight shirt on. I like it. All right. Thanks for coming. He's going to be one of my helping hands here today as we're talking through stuff on the show. Jen, anybody you want to mention watching right now or have any questions yet?
Eric Brady says hi.
Hey, Eric.
Nation. Deborah Carnell, hello from Chandler.
Hey, Deborah.
Gary Swagger, hello from Delaware.
Nice.
DJ Samirsky, hey from Texas. Love these Tech Talks.
Nice.
Esther Parrott Newcomb from the road in Kentucky.
Wow.
Phoebe Tom is watching from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky.
All right.
Thomas Erkey says, I'm here in Pioneer Town, 18 miles from the Hammers Thanksgiving Turkey Run.
Yes.
Ed Gladden Jr., hey GenRight crew. Jerome Balky, Tom Nagley from Texas.
Nice.
From Northwest Georgia, Jeremy Crumley, Steve Bird and Tammy. Don Cars, Patrick Vaughan, James Roberts, Michael Atkinson, Kathy McCavis, Keith Crum. Everybody's saying hi from all over the country.
Well, a lot of those names I recognize, and I expect to see a lot of those names out at the Turkey Run coming up.
Oh, Nana.
Nana's there too. All right. Hey, Nana.
GenRight.
I'm hoping a lot of those names are going to join me for our Turkey Run out at the Hammers. We start the weekend before Thanksgiving and go all the way through. You don't have to come for the whole time. You can come for part of it, whatever works for you. We're going to have trail runs of all levels. We're going to have, basic. We're just going to take a dirt road out to Giant Rock or, over to Pioneer Town or something. So don't be scared. Everybody's welcome, whether you have GenRight or not. I want to see you out there. Come out and have fun. I order 4 cords of firewood. We have a giant fire every night with music and just a good time, great family atmosphere. So please join us. You can sign up for it on our website right now under company, and then there's a drop down for events and you'll see it there. So definitely check that out. Today I rushed all my vendors and we're here to talk about the YJ cage. So I guess it was Tech Talk before last. You guys saw us weld it up, and of course now since we have the door open, you can hear the train. Love that train. That
Dave
guy
Thompson
is
said it's now the over budget YJ.
Yeah, this is the most committed train driver I've ever seen in my life. Man, that guy just loves that horn.
Especially on this engine.
You too?
Well, I used to work.
Oh yeah. So
it's Tech Talk Wednesday.
I rushed all my vendors. So, you guys are looking at, this is a really nice, they call it silver vein hammer tone. I don't know if you can zoom in on that or just plain old move closer. Really nice finish. A lot of customers prefer this. It's very durable. It is a little bit more expensive, but really produces a nice end product. And we also had the entire interior Rhino line, actual Rhino line brand from our buddies around the corner here at Garrett Trailer. And we rushed all these guys. I gave them 1 week to make all this happen, and they pulled it off for us. I mean, it only showed up a few hours ago, but they pulled it off, so that was pretty cool. So Troy and Devin are here, and they were gonna help me just while we're talking to everybody, start putting on the side plates, and maybe we could drop a seat or two in. We do need to chase the threads. I don't know if you noticed, but I did put the back seat in. A lot of people would inquired about the back seat and how much room is there. The drill's in the back of the Jeep if you guys are looking for that to chase threads. And boy, this really turned out nice. I did not spend a lot of time talking about one of the coolest features on our cage, which is this lower leg. So instead of a tube, we elected to do what's called a stanchion. And this stanchion is formed out of 3/16 thick, and it fits in here like a glove. So the good part about it is, and I don't have it all the way in because we've got to bolt some stuff in, but it takes away nothing from your foot room. So this is a really nice feature to our YJ and CJ cage in particular, but the TJ and LJ cage is very similar. Of course, on the JK and JL, the whole thing focuses into here on the tub, so you don't have anything down there on the floor either. So pretty darn nice. Like we told you guys before, all of our cages fit under the factory hardtop or soft top. They come with all brand new grade 8 hardware. There are optional kits to tie these legs into the frame. We talked about those on one of the previous shows, but I do still have those here, and yeah, you can just go ahead and start rocking and rolling. You just got to slip on those clip nuts, and this is really a nice touch on the cage. You can see we left all the factory seatbelt bungs, so you can run harnesses or the factory seatbelts, and they're going to go ahead and drop the seats in here just so you can see how everything looks with the cage. And it's got the nice grab handles, which by the way are tucked in, so when you're inside, your hand is actually inside and not on the outside that would get it smashed between a tree or a rock. So that's pretty nice. What other questions you got?
Are there material certificates for the tube?
So we typically don't provide those with the cage. We do source locally all DOM. In this case, it's 1 3/4, 120 wall. On the JK and JL, it's 2-inch 120 wall. And yeah, it's all the good stuff. So your other option would be what they call HERW, which is electrically welded. So this is DOM, so drawn over mandrel. It's the strongest, best tubing, short of like buying chromoly. But chromoly is not really a good application for this. It's very hard. Chromoly is great for race cars, but over time, chromoly can crack. So tubing like this is much better for a cage like this in a Jeep that's going to last for years and years and years.
Do you know if the cage will fit under a best top super top on a CJ?
It will. That's exactly what I'm running, is that exact same top. Yep.
Okay, what is the wheelbase on that YJ?
It's the stock wheelbase. So I think that's 92. So, and it might even be shorter than that because of the way we've lifted it.
DJ has a question.
Sure.
Just ordered my JKU cage with all the options except the X behind the front seats. Was wondering, is the cage notched for the GenRight Elite suspension connection package, aluminum top, V-bar? I want to have both harnesses and the OE front and rear seat belts. Any tips on how to mount OE set seat belts, since the mounts like PRP says it doesn't retain the OE belts?
So, boy, that was a bunch of questions all in one. Okay, so the dash V-bars are notched to fit on the tubing, but they're not puzzled, okay? So when you look at something like this, if you can follow me over here. So there was a puzzle key for all these tubes back here, and the C-pillar tube. So now, one thing I want to tell everybody is, even if you don't use the option, you must weld the puzzle keys closed. You cannot leave anything open in the tube, or it provides a weak spot. Okay, so if you have a seatbelt bung, you've got to either put the bung in or weld it up. Okay, now the seatbelt bungs are real easy. They're already pre-lasered a hole there, so you may have to open the hole a little bigger, but for the most part, you just put it in there and weld it up. You can see it sticks out a little bit. That's so you can get the weld around there. And you rosette weld it from the back. You can probably, maybe even on camera, see a little hump from where we welded it. That's just the high spot on the weld right there. So, and if you look really carefully, you know, one of the things I pride myself on my cages is smooth all the way back, right? There's nothing that sticks out. And these two are two pieces with a sleeve in the middle, and you can barely even tell. So it really goes together cleanly. And I did do the aluminum roof option on this. We've got it in here somewhere. So toward the end of the show, we'll drop that on. Speaking of that harness bar, I want to go over here and drag this other one out that we installed the harness bar on. Let me do that real quick. So we put this harness bar on the stock cage. And can you zoom in a little bit here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So basically, the way this works is the tube comes long, so it'll fit on a JK, a JL, a TJ, a YJ, a CJ, whatever. And it'll even fit on our aftermarket roll cage. What you do is you just weld in two of those seatbelt style bungs, and then you cut the tube to length and you weld on this little 2-bolt flange, and this can come off, and it is super clean. Like, talk about making it removable so that people can get in and out. You almost don't even notice that it's there. I'm going to pop it off for everybody and show you how this works. A lot of people don't even know we have this option. It's under $120. So there's no excuse for you guys not to be running harnesses. Switch hands here.
Bo was asking about the color of the rhino lining.
Yeah, I just went with a gray. You know, I don't know if you know this, but you actually have the option to get other colors. Okay, so now you can see it just looks like a couple of seatbelt bungs, and the tube comes out. But look at how nice this is. I don't know if they can see this or not. But that 2-bolt flange, this is super strong, and this works out really good. And you can just bolt it right back in when you want the harnesses. Or, you know, if you need to get people in and out or whatever, this adds more strength and obviously gives you the ability to put those harnesses. And this is at the proper height. So we give you some tips on how to mount this, but it has to be within a certain number of degrees from the seat when the seats are installed. So good option. But like I say, you can put this same option in here. This if you didn't want to do our X bar and stuff, this same option could go inside here and then be removable. Because remember, we also did this bar removable. We did the C bar removable, so that if we want to put large cargo or anything in here, we could take this bar out, but you put this bar in and it adds a ton more strength because you're really now boxing this whole cage in. So if you hit a corner or anything, you've got the strength of the whole cage.
Ginger says hi.
What's it? Who does?
Ginger.
Oh, hey, Ginger.
I always say hi to Ginger.
She's got one of our cages.
One of my besties.
Yeah.
Is it pretty easy to locate the soft top adapter kit for the JKU cage?
It is. It's on our website. Yeah. Just, you can even type the word adapter in the search box and it'll pull that right up.
Justin Andrews said, just bought TJ Boulder Highlines. Best tool to trim the hood, death wheel grinder?
Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to mark that off with blue tape and then very carefully, yeah, just run your grinder, you know, a cutoff wheel on there, and it'll be real nice. You can deburr that edge, and you could touch it up with a Q-tip and some primer and paint, or you can get some edging to go on there. Don't worry, the hood is plenty strong because it's bent this way and this way. So even though everybody thinks the hood's gonna be flimsy, it's plenty strong. So yeah, and I would say don't overcut. You want to get that just right so you have the same factory reveal like up here. So what I'm talking about that is this right here. You want this same factory reveal after you cut the hood, okay? So that's what you're after. So it has to be a little bit of, whatever that is, 1/8 inch, okay? So the guys are busy knocking this out. You can see it actually goes back together pretty quick. Obviously putting in my center console is gonna be a little bit more work. I'm gonna get this guy out of the way. What other questions we got?
None yet.
I know these people have a lot of questions. Devin, anything you want to point out?
I say the biggest thing on this is like we did earlier, just chase all your threads. They came out easy and smooth. It should go back in easy and smooth.
Yeah, I would say even if you don't rhino line it, chase all those threads and grease every bolt and.
Because as you're unbolting it, it can
Yeah.
mess the threads up.
Yeah. So what are you doing right now?
So now we're just putting on all the clip nuts for the roof panel,
Okay.
so that that's ready to set back on while he's tightening up those seats.
Nice. Okay.
DJ said, sorry, I meant, is it easy to see where the adapter kit gets installed on the cage? He already ordered it.
Oh, well, on that, there's bolts that go underneath. That's part of the factory. Sometimes it's the soft top stuff, but yeah, if it should come with some basic instructions, or even if you look at that kit on our website and go through the pictures, it's pretty easy to see where that goes. So, okay.
Tiring to frame?
Cage to frame,
I don't know. It says
Yeah.
tiring to frame.
that's here.
What's tiring?
It's tie-in. It's probably tie-in.
Oh.
But somebody fat fingered it. Okay, so we make a kit that looks like this, and this tube is trimmable, right? Can they see that pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you do is one side goes on the frame, and I always put this side on the frame to keep it up high out of the way, and it would mount down here. And this one would need to be trimmed to be put on this Jeep. And then the other side ties into the 4-bolt plate on the bottom of the stanchion. So great little setup, and these are highly recommended, but not everybody does it. So really, having the cage ties in to, with this stanchion. So here, now you can see the 4-bolt plate, right? So if you look at this, these two 4-bolt plates go together. So that's what you're doing is when this is in the Jeep, you're sandwiching all this together. Actually, it would be like this.
Yeah, are you
sandwiching all this
tying
together.
into frame?
Yes.
Yes.
So really, really strong. That makes a big difference in the strength and how this whole thing goes together. Just
Alex
that back in there.
Israel asked what are your thoughts on using Steel-It for the cage?
So Steel-It was designed for race cars so that it would give it some rust protection, but if you came into a pit with something cracked, you could weld through it without taking the paint off. I can tell you this, it provides a Jeep no rust protection. You will instantly see where the dew sets, or if you go to the beach, it'll start rusting straight through that. So although it provides a nice looking finish, you'd have to do something else. You'd have to clear it or something else. So
James may have missed it. What is the coating you put on the cage? It looks great.
yeah, so this is, they call it a silver vein hammered finish, and then it gets a clear after that. And this is very durable.
It's what, a powder coat?
Powder coat, yes. Yes. Yeah.
Cool. He says it looks great.
Yeah, it really does. It's probably our most popular color. It's not cheap. It's a little bit more money.
Greg Yo says, hi Tony, it was nice meeting you a couple years ago while you were visiting Canton, Ohio.
Nice.
And Kari said, do you still have the aluminum half doors for CJ7?
So the TJ aluminum half doors fit the YJ and the CJ7, but you have to procure the handle is a little bit different. And they're available. We just don't buy them in quantity. We only buy the TJ ones, but yes, our aluminum doors will fit the CJ and the YJ.
Brian J says, hi from Rhode Island. Just picked up a 1990 YJ, so there'll be lots of orders coming soon.
There you go. There you go. You know, they're so inexpensive to build. You know, I can tell you that by the time we did the cage and the powder coating and the rhino lining, you know, that's not a cheap option. Obviously, it's very nice. It adds a tremendous amount of safety for you, your family, your friends. So again, this is one of those things that I'm trying to demonstrate with this budget build, is to put the money in the right places, right? At first it was chromoly axles, gears, lockers. We did a few other upgrades, obviously putting bigger tires on, better drive shaft, slip yoke eliminator, the things that really matter when you're off-road. Then, when I took it through the Rubicon, I realized how, it had been a long time since I've driven one of these. I realized how unsafe the factory roll cage was, so I wanted to put in one of our cages. And I don't know, excuse me, how much further I'm gonna take this build. I may end up offering it to you guys, our viewers, and you know, make somebody a deal on it. It runs great, and you know, but the problem is the next steps. You know, I can easily put another 5-10 grand in this thing, so it adds up fast. And really, you know, for what it is right now, you can go run the Rubicon or any of those trails and get out there and enjoy yourself and really have a good time. And whether you want to rock crawl or just, you know, go out and mess around at your local off-road park or overland or whatever it is you want to do. The hard top will go back on here, the soft top will go back on here. This, I only have a soft top. I got the best top, super top for this one. And what's that?
The metal roof?
Oh yeah, let's set the metal roof on there. Yeah, heck yeah.
DJ has another question. He
Sure.
says, I'll be installing the JK Elite kit and wondering if I can install the rear connection kit, cage to Elite towers, before installing the rear Elite pieces, or do I need to install rear Elite towers for cage tie-in placement?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, a lot of that was really designed to go together at the same time. But it can be done after the fact. So yeah, you just do whatever you have to first, and you can always get there. I'm gonna grab one more thing.
Mark Lawrence asked if you're going to be ready for another Rubicon trip next summer.
Yeah, heck yeah. All right. Get some water.
Will you bring it out to Johnson Valley on Turkey Run?
I don't know if I have enough trailer space, because I'm bringing Teramoto, which, you know, you can spin around and show them what Teramoto looks like right now.
Oh, okay.
I was, so today I pulled the grill off. I just put a brand new radiator in, and I was changing the steering box. I found a company that did a fast ratio. So now I have a 2 3/4 lock to lock on my steering box. So, you know, you can see I put on a brand new steering pump. I was just changing the tensioner, and then I can put everything back together. But this is, I'm getting this ready for Turkey Run. So, but I was walking over here to get all these upgrades that I wanted to talk about. And yeah, the guys are doing a good job getting the, don't show them my messy work area here, hon. Spin around, please.
What?
Show them cage.
You get to see Troy then.
Yeah.
Put him to work.
Yeah.
Chris Carey said, I love how my dad's old YJ is coming out. Can't wait to get some parts for my JK.
Nice. Okay.
Bo Fisher asked, will the aluminum roof for the 2-door JK fit under a factory soft top?
No, okay. So, there's only one
Soft top?
soft top that I know will fit over the top of our aluminum roof, and that is the frameless top for the LJ, maybe the TJ. But otherwise, the soft top, the super top might fit over the top of this, but we do this other piece. Let me grab it, stay there. on those guys.
Eric Brady asks, can you please measure the height of the power steering reservoir on Teramoto?
Measure the height.
Yes.
Yeah, it is literally under the hood. In fact, I'm surprised it doesn't take the paint off. Okay, so this piece of sheet metal right here is like one of the finishing touches to our aluminum roof and our roll cage. So when you put the windshield up, this piece ties and fills. See this giant gap? Well, if it starts to rain or you park under a tree, like leaves and stuff are gonna fall right through there, okay? That's a giant gap. So we put this nice piece of aluminum on here and it seals that off. And it is really nice. So it helps the whole, airflow, and it's just, really a nice finishing touch. So, nobody else is doing this kind of stuff. And this, by the way, this aluminum roof probably effectively doubles the strength of the top of the cage. This is the exact same specification that we run on our race cars. Like I don't know if you can like zoom in on this, Jen. These cars had the exact same thickness roof. And, I have rolled those things at over 100 miles an hour. And sure, the aluminum got bent up, but I'll tell you what, man, you take that roof off and you put a brand new one on, you'd never even know the car rolled. So it makes a huge, huge difference.
Mark Lawrence asks, what is the best way to get a faster steering wheel action on my Howell steering system in my Tracer with 4.0 L engine?
Oh, he wants quicker response. So the Howell can change the ratio. You got to send the box back, but he can change the ratio. What you need to do is go lock and then spin all the way to the other side. And it's probably 4-turn would be my guess. And then call them and say, hey, I've got a 4-turn right now, Saginaw box. I want to go with something faster, like a 3-turn. If you mention my name, he'll be like, oh, Tony's been talking to people again, quick steering. Because that racers want that. They want that fast response. Now, what I need to caution you against is this. When you're rock crawling, you don't have as much power in the steering, right? Because what you've done is trade the gear ratio. It's just like gearing in your axles. You've traded the gear ratio for quicker steering. So you might have to eat your Wheaties, like Kelly would say, and then you just have to man that steering wheel, okay?
Doug asked, hi from East Tennessee. Do you have a cage for the 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon Unlimited?
Yeah.
And if so, is the aluminum roof an option?
Yes, and yes. Yeah, it's on our website. That's
cage,
the
right?
JL. Yep, it's the exact same one I have in Aftershock that Ari's got in his EXS that we've built plenty and we're building more right now. Yeah, great, and it's by far our best cage we've ever made. We were able to incorporate so many things into that cage. It is just awesome. So.
Okay, do you sell a budget steel rock slider for the TJ? I ordered some from Poison Spider and they said they're on back order for 5 to 6 months since something happened at their facility.
Yeah, they went out of business is what happened.
Anything in that like $400 neighborhood?
Yeah, I don't, you'd have to look on the website to see what these run, the one that Troy's standing on. But I think those are like $4.99, maybe. Well, and we're right at that season too, where Black Friday comes up and stuff. But if you need to buy them now, just call in and talk to my guys. They'll make you a deal on this stuff for sure.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, Texas Rubicon says hi.
Hi.
Asked, is that a TerraFlex box in the passenger seat?
I know, that's funny, huh?
Yes,
I think
is.
it's just the box that we grabbed here. I'll get out of Troy's way here. What I wanted to show you guys was all of the options. So Scosche makes a 9-inch panoramic mirror. So you can see right now, it's probably not easy. You need to slide over a little bit. And let's see if we can get some light in there. See, the mirror is on the other side of the V-bar. It's not a big deal, but if you get this one, you can put it on your side of the V-bar, and it's pretty nice. Okay, so that's a nice option. It just clamps onto the cage, and you know, I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. Here is a phone mount. So this is how I have it in Aftershock and Teramoto. It clips onto here, and then you can put one on the passenger and the driver's side, and it's really nice, very sturdy. This will hold an iPad. This is like really beefy. What's this? Oh, these are the side mirrors. So they make convex side mirrors, and these mirrors clamp right here. A lot of people put them up, but that's not the right way to do it. You want your mirrors low. So here, let me explain this. When you get into an obstacle, you know what hits the tree, the rock, whatever first? Right here. So don't put your freaking mirror there, it's gonna be gone. Put your mirror down here, okay? That's how I do it. And we've shown you even on our half doors, we mount the mirror to the top of the half door, or you can
Sup with the Terraplex box. Guys, it's just a trash can.
it's yeah, like literally it's just a box that, okay, then Scosche fire extinguisher mounts. These are great to mount fire extinguishers somewhere on the cage. These are really nice. So highly recommend those. That's what I run on Teramoto.
Squeaky. I'm gonna need someone to fix this.
Here's another nice thing, and this is a whip antenna mount. So, or you know, just a flag mount or a race radio antenna mount. And these can, you know, be clipped right on back here in the corner, down low or up high. It'll go under the hard top or the soft top, or if you take the top off, then it's on the outside. That's a really nice thing to have. I'm telling you about all these options because they're what I use. And this is a really cool LED light that you can put on the inside of the cage. You can still have it triggered to open with the door, you know, come on with the doors, or there's a button in the middle of it that you can push and then light up the inside. So this is what I'm running on Aftershock and Teramoto. And I put them all over the place because, you know, when you're, say you know, lose your phone or drop something, man, you need all the light you can get in there. So those are super handy. And if you're not familiar with all these Scosche mounts, let me show you how these work.
VB Tom said Esther has those mirrors on her YJ and actually turns the passenger side down so she can see the passenger rear tire.
That's right.
Placement and view on the trail.
That's exactly what I do too. So these clips are really nice because you just push this over the tube, and that's, you know, how you would do the mirrors, right? You just slide that on, and then you just slide the mirror into this, or the rear view mirror up here, or the mount for the fire extinguisher, or whatever you got. Really nicely made product and well thought out, all stainless steel hardware. So highly recommend. Everybody in my crew runs all this Scosche stuff. It's super popular.
Brigitte asked, is GenRight carrying all the Scosche items on their website?
Yes, yes.
Ginger asked, what kind of lights are those for the interior?
That's the SSV. You can find these on our website too.
SSV?
SSV comes with a nice long wire harness, and can you see the one in Teramoto pretty easy? Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to wheel around, you could show them the one in Teramoto.
Okay.
Don't step on the
this
orange
is
thing.
Very sketchy. Are you hearing the squeak of this here tripod? Where is it?
Right in the center between the driver and passenger.
Can you get there? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got one in the back too. So back here. That way, you know, you just light up the whole interior. It's really nice. Oh, well, my battery might be low. The Teramoto's been off for a while. But that's what they look like. All right.
Oh, God.
So lots of options, lots of good stuff. And I think, I want to open this one and show you guys. I think
Ginger said, thanks.
Yeah, of
Welcome,
course.
Ginger.
Oh, man, you guys like button this thing up quick.
Quick and easy, man.
Anthony Atkinson asks, what is the best
had-
way to stretch a YJ wheelbase if you stick with leaf springs?
Okay, that's a good question. The answer is this. You can get longer leaf springs, and we also, if you don't have this on here, we make something that looks similar to this. Are you following me?
What is that?
Look like you were looking somewhere else. What you do is you move this point to the back with a longer leaf spring and slide the axle back. You can get a good 5 inches, but you're gonna need our gas tank. That's my very first product I did, was the gas tank that allowed you to move that axle back. So it's a slick way to do it. I would, if off-roading is your thing, if this is something you're really doing, I would caution you against spending a bunch of money to do that, because to link it isn't much more work, and it'll be a lot nicer because you won't have all this stuff sticking out on the back. So this is that mirror I want to show everybody. It's really nice, and you get the ability to mount it on the inside. Can they see that?
Yep.
So you can mount it right on the inside, and it's got all kinds of adjustment on it, so you can, make it however you want. If you want to move it like way in like that, which is the way I would do it, I think that's really slick. So super nice, and check that out. And it's all adjustable, so you get like tons of adjustment on it. It's really nicely made.
Can you use the rock sliders as a lift point?
Sure. Yeah, they're stronger than the rest of the Jeep.
If you can show the underside of the rock sliders, and I kind of cannot.
Oh.
So I can try to down that low.
Well, the underside is smooth. So, and are they looking at me, or where are they looking right now?
Hold on one
Looks like they're
second.
looking at the seat. Okay, so the underside is smooth, and there's bolts that go up through into the bottom of the tub. And what I do is I provide spacers, so when you put those bolts together, it sandwiches the floor and everything, and it really adds a lot of strength. So that's one of the reasons you can use them as a lift point, is because otherwise this thing would just pry right off. But they're on there, and they're strong. So there's a lot of strength in the floor, where we attach those two. So
You put another one up front, correct?
I do, yeah, up front. And when I do our tube fenders, I'm gonna even put an additional bolt up here too. So yeah, these have been around since almost the very beginning, almost as long as the gas tank. And we have sold a bajillion of those. They're 3/16 thick. They're a full 6 inches tall. So you can see they come right to this reveal on the body. And yeah, they're nice. So yeah.
Texas Rubicon said, I would love to see the YJ done up with the Legend suspension.
Yeah, so obviously that's how I built the original Growler, and we still sell a ton of Legend suspensions. That's a very popular kit. If I were to keep going on this Jeep, that's what I would end up doing, is putting a Legend on there. A what?
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Knowing what I know today, I would chop this. I'd do our YJ to LJ conversion, and yeah, this baby'd be linked, and yeah, it's a whole different animal for sure.
Will you or do you ever offer a free shipping promo on the full cage?
I believe we do, and sometimes that's around Black Friday. Yeah, if we do that, it's around Black Friday.
Cool. Brian J, may be tough to answer, but is the X bar and harness bar necessary? The type of trail riding we do, we will only ever run the stock seat belts in and out a lot, so a harness would be annoying.
Yeah, and honestly, don't think of the X bar as only something you do with harnesses, okay? That X bar builds a ton of strength into this vehicle. And keep in mind, everybody is thinking right now, well, I don't wheel that hard, I don't this, I don't that. Well, forget off-road, okay? Think about on-road. There's way more freaking crazies on-road. And one of my favorite pictures that we have, if you go over to our TJ cage, there's a Jeep that went head on with a semi-truck. and it broke out the front axle. It destroyed this thing. You got to see this picture on our website. And the only thing left, and you can see it's totally straight, is the roll cage. And it's these extra tubes are what reinforce this thing. And keep in mind that X bar, this V bar, what we're doing is we're giving the cage strength if you hit the side. You know, think about it. Most guys don't roll all the way over. What they do is they dump it over on the side. Well, if you dump it over on the side and it tweaks your cage, well, now your doors don't close, your top doesn't go back on, you're probably gonna shatter the windshield. It's gonna be a mess. So you need that to be as stout as you can for something what I would call minor for a flop that you wouldn't want to just destroy your whole Jeep. Yeah.
Can you utilize those plugs, those pucks, to remove that X?
Yes, this one. Yeah. Yeah, so, or these.
Right.
Yeah, come zoom in right here. Okay, so this right here is what's called a tube coupler. This is incredibly strong. We use these on all of our race car chassis and cages. And when this gets put together, when you put the bolts inside this, the way that it fits, you can see it's almost seamless. You know, like you don't even know it's there. This is super, super strong. And it's also another way that you could be able to remove the X bar, the harness bar, or like we showed earlier, doing it with the 2-bolt flange. That's another way to remove those bars and still add strength to your cage. Okay. But the X bar is, I would always highly recommend that. I'll give you another example. One time I was in a V-notch and started to fall in, and they threw a strap over and hooked it onto my cage, and they pulled my Jeep with another Jeep. Well, I could hear every mounting point. So I had a cage just like this. I could hear every mounting point. Cage wasn't budging, but everywhere it mounted to the Jeep, I could hear it pulling hard. And you know, there's not even a situation where I've rolled over. They're just trying to help me not trash the side of my Jeep. So, you know, this is a integral piece structural to the rest of your Jeep. And if you tie it into the frame, you know, it's going to add a ton of strength to the frame on your Jeep, for sure.
A question, why do you keep the aluminum top and spacer 2 pieces? Just curious.
Okay, so the aluminum top is 1/8 inch thick, and it's already big enough, right? The spacer is a thinner material, because it doesn't need to be thick, and I wanted it to be, it bolts on through the same bolts that hold the top on, right? So it's real easy. Now, for you folks that said, hey Tony, can't I run my aluminum roof under my soft top? This is the difference. You just pull this piece off, because you got to be able to get the top hooked back onto the windshield or pushed down on the windshield. But that's the same thing this piece is doing. So good question. I hope what I'm saying makes sense, but yeah, this has to be removable.
Can you get the Legend suspension on an LJ to sit as low as the Tracer setup?
You can. A lot of it has to do with the type of axles you're going to run, which is a big reason why we've recommended the Currys for a long time, because that rolled cover allows it to really bump deep, which means the Jeep sits lower. Because you've got to have a few inches of travel, up travel, or the thing's going to ride like a rock. You know, if you see vehicles on the internet that sit low, those guys are on the bump stops and they ride like crap. They were all just out of Trail Hero. They didn't go more than 5 miles an hour from camp. That's not me. I want to go like 60. So yeah, no, I want suspension that works. So if you don't mind going slow, and I know, look, when I went back to S'more and it was like a 15 mile an hour speed limit from, you know, trail to trail, I was like, yeah, I can see why guys, you know, you can just basically air down your tires and have no suspension. So.
DJ said I didn't order the X-Bar behind the front seats because I had one and passengers barely fit, but it was with the OE rear seats. Does PRP seats move the passengers away more or give them more legroom? I understand the strength added, but my rear passengers hated it, trying to get the family into off-roading
Okay,
fun?
so good question. So here's, and this is especially with this kind of platform, you know, you're talking TJ, YJ, CJ. This is small, right? Now, the reality is, you can put brand new rib nuts in the floor and I could move this seat right back to this bar, okay? So Devin was sitting in here earlier and, you know, that would have given him all the room he needed to be super comfortable. As it was, he had 1 foot on one side, 1 foot on the other side, as if he was sitting back there with another adult. So by the way, there's nothing preventing you from moving even the seat you have. Yes, PRP seat is thinner, so it would actually fit back even further. So but now the downside, you're losing all your storage, right? So now you're gonna need something on the back, something on the roof, you know. I would put something on the back before I put it on the roof, that's for sure.
Boaz, can you use those clamps on the X bar and make it removable?
Yep, that's exactly what I was talking about.
But is that impractical somehow?
No, it's just, you gotta keep in mind these things are like 40 or 50 bucks a piece.
It's
So,
really tricky to get the X bar in and out, but it is doable.
yeah. Yep. By the way, we have X bars on Jordan's race car that are held in with these exact same
Oh,
clamps.
the rear seat question was regarding a JK, not a YJ.
Oh, no, JK, okay. So I talk about this on our website. It requires you using my seat mounts. And when you buy the PRP seats, you have to buy the UTV, the seat that they sell for a side-by-side, the front seat for a side-by-side in the rear of your JK. Now, if you don't listen to me, you're gonna put seats back there and it's gonna suck for any adult. But adults can ride comfortably for 12 hours in the back seat of my Jeep when we chase for KOH, and they love it and they wanna come back every year. So I'm telling you, it is super comfortable. We know how to do things, we do it right every time. So just order my mounts, order the seats I tell you, and you're gonna be set.
Jeff asked, hey, the front springs on the budget YJ, can they be turned around to give you 2 inches of stretch like a FSJ spring swap on a YJ? Thanks.
The front springs.
Yeah, can they be turned around to give you 2 inches of stretch?
So what he might be talking about is doing what's called a shackle reversal. So that's where you take this shackle and you put it in the back. This requires fabrication skills, okay? This is not something, no bolt-in stuff for this. And if you do that, you can actually slide everything forward and give yourself a little bit more room here for a bigger tire. One of the things that we do with our tube fenders is we open this up. You know, if you get our high fender, it's very small, which opens it up like 3 inches. So there's a lot of tricks to be able to get that. But longer leaf springs equal more travel. Okay, so if you look at like Deaver is one of the popular desert springs that some of the racers still use in the different classes of desert racing. And they'll get 22 inches of travel out of a leaf spring. So it can be done, but those are long, man. Those are big springs. Your Jeep right now, you know, has springs that are not very long. And I think I told you all I'm running BDS, and these are what's also called a military wrap. So it has an extra, can you see right here? So normally a spring just has the eye wound on it, and you put the bushings in. This has an extra wrap that clamps on there. Because what happens is when you go to back up or pull forward, the spring opens up and you're putting a lot of stress on it. Well, they always break right here. In fact, I think I have one over here broken. Because one of our guys had, I don't see it anymore.
You know roughly the cost of the UTV PRP seats?
Do you remember seeing it? They're the same or maybe a little bit cheaper. Yeah.
So would you say to get those seats, if you have a JK and you want the X bar,
Yes.
definitely change out the seats?
No, well, I mean, you know, Shane's got the factory seats in his Wolverine,
Unless they're kids, I guess.
and we piled 7 adults in that vehicle to go over the back door. So, yeah, there's no problem with getting people in there. Okay, standard leaf spring, right? One wrap, you put the bushings in. Well, this is also what happens to a standard leaf spring. Just breaks off. Okay, it's metal, right? Even though it's spring steel, you cycle this thing so many times and pretty soon it just breaks off. Especially in heavy duty off-road applications where you're in low range and you have a lot of torque. Okay, remember this is just the main leaf in the pack, right? There's other leaves that go in here, but this is hanging out here all by itself. You can see it. You know, this one's military wrap, but the next spring is here. So that would have been 6 inches out by itself. Okay, so
Keith Black is watching.
all right, Big Keith.
What's your thought about springs over versus under from Mark Lawrence?
Okay, so spring over. First off, you have to be ready to get a 5.5-inch lift. So from wherever you are, if you go over, you're 5.5 inches taller. That's a lot. That's like monster truck status by today's standards. So you better be putting a big tire on there with some big axles. And by the way, if you keep increasing the diameter of the tube on the axle, now you got a 6.5-inch lift or a 7-inch, like you're just adding lift because it's spring over, okay? So, now, the reason a lot of people do that is because there's no arc in the spring or very little arc in the spring. And what that does is it lets the spring flex a lot, okay? But what springs don't like to do is they don't like to go the other way. So when a spring is made like this, if you flatten this, you're okay. The moment you go the other way, it's gonna crack right here. Okay, and it'll do it for a little while, but it's gonna look like this and leave you. But trust me, when a leaf spring breaks, you're done. You're lucky if the drive shaft doesn't come apart, rip out your brake lines, break your U-joints. I mean, you're talking about a giant mess. Okay, this is not something you want to mess around with. That's why spend the extra $100, get military wrap, and you'll never worry about it again. For sure.
Mario asked, TJ Fenders, how much clearance do you gain going from a factory front fender to your aluminum flat fenders?
So what you gain is this different, so typical flare, is really thick. So all that's gone. So because you come right up to this level. So, you're gaining like 3 inches. I usually tell people it's 3 inches up, 3 inches back.
Okay.
It's a lot. Good questions.
Leaf springs, the mark of a real Jeep.
Well, I can tell, I didn't tell everybody this, but after my first day of driving this on the Rubicon, I had the ultimate ab workout, and I was gonna start marketing that if you drive a leaf spring vehicle, you've gotta like tighten your core. And all you got to do this is like every other day, and you're going to have some good abs. Because in the YJ, man, you got to like support yourself. So it's not like my JK where you can just kind of relax and bounce around. So yeah. Oh, and by the way, the Hip to Be Square t-shirts are on our website right now, and you can order them right now, and they'll deliver next week. So, yep. Go ahead and check
Jerome
this
wants
out.
to know whose Jeep is under the cardboard next to Tails behind Tony.
Oh, that's Taylor's. Wow, he's got a good eye. Oh no, I mean it's Devin's.
Devins.
Yeah, Devin's. Yeah, it started to rain. I don't know, it started to rain. So we were scrambling, like putting stuff away. Yeah.
The lightweight one.
Indeed
Yeah.
it is. Let's see. I have a question.
Sure.
Kare from Norway, what do you have to change when doing a change from Legend YJ to doing a YJ to LJ conversion with full flex?
So you don't have to change much because the mounting point for the suspension is still in the same spot on the frame. What you're doing is stretching the frame after that. So our kit includes that rear shock tower already. So it actually makes it pretty easy. Otherwise, you're gonna have to cut your frame and French in the shock tower. Well, you don't need to do that. That's already part of the kit. So it makes it pretty easy. We don't still have one of those sitting in here, do we?
Ab work.
The TJ to LJ kit, do we still have one frame rail? Is there one back there or is it over there?
A follow-up question on
Devin's
the
gonna grab
TJ
one.
fender.
Yeah.
Do you gain those 3 inches reusing the inner fender?
Yeah. So the inner fender is a little tricky because there's a pinch seam right underneath the hood here. You're going to cut just on the other side of that and retain that pinch seam. So it literally, this surface is at the exact same height, yes, unless you do our high fender. So, but a lot of guys, what they're doing now is they're pulling off the whole fender, selling it, and getting the aluminum inner fender, which is lighter weight, and it also has some venting built into it, so you reduce a little bit of heat.
Do you have the lowdown on the Black Friday sales?
I do not. We're still quite a ways away from that. We're a month away. So.
Oh, okay. Rick Turner has said, 04 TJ, I have your aluminum Highline fenders. I haven't installed them yet. Wondering, will 35s look okay with 2-inch puck lift installed from previous owner?
It's gonna look like a monster truck. You're probably gonna want to go to 37s right away. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, for those guys asking about sales, keep in mind right now, YJ and CJ cages are on sale right now. Bumpers are on sale. We've got a number of products that are on sale. If you go to our homepage, the first slide that comes up, you just click on that and it'll show you all the items that are on sale right now.
Eric, do you want to see the sweatshirt with Jeff Perkins' Jeep on it?
Oh yeah, it's over here. And you had your sweatshirt on earlier.
This is a hot new seller. Because Jeff sold it hard.
That's selling pretty good. Actually, all of them are selling really good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was wearing the pink hoodie, and it was super warm and soft. I told Jamie that's a winner right there.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
Jeep Talk Show said Hellwig sells a broken leaf spring emergency repair kit.
Yeah, well, if you're going to be that guy, you should definitely carry one. For sure.
Brian J. asked, on a YJ using your Highline fenders front and rear, how much lift would you recommend to run 37s spring under?
Not much. In fact, when, like, this is still empty right now, so this is sitting a little taller than normal. But I would just put our stuff on here and go right to 37s. I wouldn't change it at all.
Bob Becker, I can hardly wait for turkey run.
Yeah, now we're talking. That's going to be fun. We do a lot of wheeling. A lot of wheeling.
What rear sway bar do you recommend when moving the gas tank to the rear of a JK?
The GenRight rear sway bar. And then you don't need a front. You just eliminate the front and just do the rear only. And by the way, if you go over and look at that on our website, we have a cool video. It's a different tab you got to click on when you're on that product. And you can see me go around a corner with no sway bar and then rear sway bar only. And it's like a Ferrari. Man, that thing corners good. So check that video out.
Repeat question, if it is, hold on. Is Teramoto running 70-inch or wider axles?
It's running 70-inch with 4 3/4 backspace wheels. Yep. Yeah, so it puts, do we have a tape measure over here right now, Devin?
Alan's here. Hi, Alan. He says, so late.
I think it puts me at...
No, you're right on time, Alan.
84, 85 inches from bubble to bubble. I know, we had one.
Doug Johnson, any recommendations on who would be trustworthy to put one of your cages together in East Tennessee for a 2023 JLU?
East Tennessee, we definitely have somebody back there. I would call in and talk to the guys tomorrow. They've got a whole list of our dealers back there, and they'd be able to recommend somebody.
Ron Fallon said, I did a 2.5-inch spring over with express reverse wrap springs and bump stops with 35s, and it said barely higher than your Jeep, the white
Just
YJ you're building right now, and ran Rubicon all the time.
To the outside of the bubble.
Outside of the
On the tire, the very outside bubble of the tire. What's it coming in at? Like 84, 85?
85.
85. Yeah.
85 inches.
So, and by the way, that is, I don't know that I would want to go a lot wider than that. That you are, you know, the trails were forged in by Jeeps like this. And you know, we're already pretty wide, so you're giving those sidewalls a workout at 85.
Ed Gladden Jr. asked, did you put the race engine in Teramoto?
So this engine right now is a Crate LS3 that I just did a whole bunch of upgrades with Edelbrock, which is comp cams. And so we did a fast throttle body, a new intake, an upgraded cam. We upgraded the valve train. This is going to be quite a bit hotter. And but my really good engine is sitting over there behind Troy, and that's got lots and lots of goodies in it. So just the valve train in that one alone is more than most people would spend on an entire
With a
engine.
space heater on top.
So that's like over 700 horsepower. So, and remember, I only do naturally aspirated. I don't none of that turbo or supercharged stuff.
Take this out, put it in my YJ afterward.
There you go. So we're going to do the tests on this. This goes to dyno next week, and then we'll know what all those improvements did. So.
Oh, Andrew Warren asked, what is the most you could stretch the rear axle in a YJ with your gas tanks when running a 14 bolt?
So you can go on our website, and if you go to our EXT or comp tank, there's a diagram. Scroll through the pictures, and the very last picture is going to be a diagram, and it shows you all the different axles and how far you can push those back. I'm going to say with the EXT is probably 5 inches, and with the comp is probably 7, would be just guessing. So.
Okay, we're all caught up.
Nice. Well, it's a little after 6, so thanks everybody. Tomorrow, we are headed out of here to Havasu to watch Peter Doolin and Jeff Perkins race at the Ultra 4 Nationals, and in our original 4500 car that Peter now owns, and it's a hot TJ. It was originally a TJ that we built for Jordan, and they're going to do real well, I'm sure. So I'm headed out there to support them, and then we'll be back next Wednesday, I'm sure, with Teramoto done and some other goodies around here. So stay tuned and definitely check it out next Wednesday.